Hello and welcome to Justin. I am your host, Adriana Lamar, here with Sammy Wells and Tommy Scott as usual. If you haven't already, please drop down and hit the like and subscribe buttons for us so that we can continue to bring you this excellent content. All right, lots of football to talk about today. We got regular professional football, we got college football, and we got some COVID protocols and discussions about what the latest happenings on that front are. So we will be right back. All right, welcome back. So real quick, let's talk about the Cowboys Raiders Thanksgiving game. They did go into OT and that it resulted in a Cowboys loss. Lots of reasons for that. Sam, I'll let you go ahead and kick that off.
This is the first time that I do not want to kick off the talking about this loss.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and start for you. See what
Talking
kind of
about
happened, what no.
are talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I will say this: it's one thing for Anthony Brown to get one PI, but he had over four PIs throughout the game, or three PIs throughout the whole game. And after the game, he said it was just not his day. But yeah, it was not your day, of course. But I cannot say that just blame it on him because I think the whole game, I mean, the Raiders had 14 penalties, and then the Dallas Cowboys had 14 penalties. And I guess the referees were just not letting the teams play, just play the game.
No touching.
Ah,
Distancing.
right. So I think the game was, Cowboys started slow. Raiders did their thing. Give credit to them. They did win the game. Um, it did take overtime to win the game. You did see Dallas at the end of the fourth quarter come alive with their offense and start playing. But it definitely showed when you have our two best receivers that are out of the game, how the offense runs. You know, it needs we need our two-star players to actually show what our production is. We are the number one offense in the NFL. It was not showing out on that field because we're out of our two stars. We can definitely blame it on that, but it is next man up, stepping up. And, I have to say that my defense, I am proud of them because Michael Parson, the rookie, is definitely being phenomenal for this year. We're getting Randy Gregory back. We're getting Demarcus Lawrence back. We're getting most of our defensive players back. So, Cowboys, even though they've been losing 3 out of 4 out of November, we gotta remember that when they were winning, they were without some of their star players on defense and offense. So you know it's a we're hoping for, I'm hoping for the best that they're going to be able to overcome this. Dak said in a report that they are hungry, they're ready to come out, and I hope that they come out, beat the Saints, blow them out like they did the Falcons, and hopefully we can take that 3-game lead in the NFC East division, and get on track. But I definitely think that we definitely need our two best receivers in the game to be able to get our offense back to where we've been playing at for the beginning of the season. But I'm definitely happy that our defensive players are coming back.
Obviously, it'll be helpful to have your star players back in, but I mean, from my perspective, that would have made a win easier. But I don't think that was a dependency to winning Thursday's game, given the multiple different scenarios that could have occurred. Just making the kicks, the extra point, and I believe, yeah, field goal. Just not reversing that decision to keep an extra point and instead going for two and then losing both points. Like either one of those things, any one of those things would have prevented overtime and resulted in a 1 to 3 point win. So, I mean, I, I appreciate the pass interference calls, but that happens all the time, right? And you have to adjust, and he obviously did not. So as soon as he knew that, hey, they were going to call these, he needed to adjust his play, and he didn't. But in and of itself, I don't think that necessarily costed the game. I think there were just too many things going on and a failure to respond to the climate that day that really the whole team has to take responsibility for. Tommy, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was a sloppy game. I mean, that from both sides of the ball from beginning to end, it was a sloppy game. But with Brown in specific, that was really one of those situations where my take, and I'll say with everything that's going on, I think that's the hinge, right? Is that the reason why they were close was because of the pass interference. As in, if he doesn't interfere, he gets roasted all day because he played bad, just flat out. Because the thing is, as much as folks were saying, oh, that was a questionable call and da da da, you go back and watch it, and like on some of them, it's like he's grabbing jersey, and I mean pulling jersey all the way down the field.
He
So
was.
and it's one of those when you and for him, right? The other thing, once you get PI number 3, you better understand. Oh yeah, every time the ball comes my way, if it looks like I may have sneezed on them, they're calling it, right? That's it's just the way it's the way it is. And there's other stuff there, and you're right in the sense of if the other issues aren't there, they can overcome that. They're doing all right. I think, as you say, with some of the defensive players come back in, that pressure isn't there because, I mean, the thing to remember is, the Raiders don't exactly have a short receiving core, right? They're pretty decent in that arena. But, ultimately, I think, this is for whatever reason, it was, you just get that feeling just watching the game where it was like, I never in there did I really feel that the Cowboys as a whole were present. It just seemed like half the
It's one of those
team.
where it was just like, this is hard to watch. Like,
Yeah.
you're not coming out of this.
Yeah, and it just felt like it was one of those like not half the team, but a decent number of players had already checked out and were, like, well, I'm gonna have the turkey and the stuffing first. And it's like that's where the mindset was is let's get out of this and move on to the next thing. Um, and then so that's kind of what it felt like. I mean, I did say, I would say at the end, I pretty much I thought, Cowboys are going to pull this off. But it's like the third down and a mile pass interference was one of those where it's like, well, all things considered, it is the perfect summation of this game. Was we were getting ready to get the ball back on 4th down and long and have a chance to win. And instead, we got a PI and put them in scoring position, and that's what they did. And it's really just one of those games where, everybody just seems so off that you almost feel, I feel more bad for Dak because, while definitely not his best game ever, he didn't really feel off, right? He felt like he was taking what he could get, doing what he could do, and trying to keep things moving as best he could with what he had. I mean, when you're missing, a pair of good wide receivers, it makes it hard as a quarterback to throw the ball. But he still got in there and got it done. It just seemed, especially on defense, where there's certain moments where things were going good, in there, but just in general, it was a flatline game. It was just like kind of coming out and being like, guess if we win, we win, and if we don't, there's always next week. And Sam, you're right. It very well could have just been like, man, November's not our month. Let's just get the heck out of this month. Let's move on, whatever it is. But yeah, that was the Cowboys did not really bring their A game, which we knew they weren't going to be able to going into it, but as a result, they just.
So, Sam, how do they adjust heading into the game with the Saints?
Well, Let me say this. I'm not blaming Anthony Brown for everything as far as the game. I'm not blaming him one single reason. I said there's multitudes of things that the Cowboys could have done to win this game, and they did not. You
Mm-hmm.
know. Now, what the Cowboys can do with this game, I have to say that right now, reportedly, CeeDee Lamb is going to be there. I'm glad for that. Amari Cooper, I wish him nothing but well as far as him dealing with COVID because he's still doing with the after effects of having COVID. So they don't know if he's going to be there. Hope he is going to be there. The way the Cowboys do this is they run the ball. It showed that when they run the ball, when they can be able to have over 150 yards of rushing, then they win the ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Dak throwing. So they need to establish themselves just like they did in the beginning of the season and run the football. I want to see Lightning and Thunder um, running the ball because I want to see Zeke Pollard doing their thing, being able to establish the run and running against the Saints. They can be able to do this. The Bills did it, so they can be able to do it. We don't know what quarterback is playing. I don't care what quarterback is playing. If you're running the ball, it doesn't really matter because that quarterback is on the sideline. I don't care if it's Hill or Simeon, whatever. Run the ball, keep their offense off of the field, and run the ball. And then my defense. And as I began the season, when I talked about my defense is going to be way better than it was last year, it is. They are second. They rank second and getting off the field as far as third down, getting teams off of the field in the NFL. So I want to see my defense. I want to see Diggs break the record for interceptions. I want them to go out and, run the ball, play good defense, and then leave New Orleans. Because everybody know New Orleans is one of the hardest place to play in the NFL. 49er fans should know that. So, but like I said, Dallas should run the ball, make sure that play good defense, and we can be able to win the ball game.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I was just thinking back with playing in New Orleans. I mean, it can be hard, especially like if what you need to win the game is to have your tight end carry 3 Saints players down the field and put you in the field. If you need that, man, it's tough sledding day right there. Now, okay, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna make it real easy for Cowboys. You want to win? I'm gonna tell you this. My plan, foolproof. You can literally get out there, run no offensive snaps, punt the ball every time your offense gets the ball. Punt it. Punt it. Apply pressure. You can do it with 4, maybe 5 sometimes if you want to put a stamp on it. That offensive line on the other side of the field is garbage. The guy that they're blocking, they're probably garbage because he's garbage too. I don't care whether it's Hill or Sam. Garbage. Put pressure on him. Make him do it. Your defensive backs and one of the linebackers will account for like 35 points, right? Pick them off and it'll be pick 6 mania right there. Now, if you happen to put your offense on the field, right?
You happen to have to do that.
Do it and you run the ball, really the only thing you're going to do is you're really what you're kind of doing is limiting the score, right? Because what it is you're eating time up off the clock. You'll get a touchdown. But had you just punted in that same time that you got 1 touchdown, your defense would have picked him off twice and scored twice. And so it's really, whether you score 7 or 14, so that's
You don't want to play their offense, you don't want to play their defense. You want to play their offense.
No, playing there, you can play the defense. It's easy. I'm just thinking, maybe as you said, with, you want to get some defensive snaps up. You want to, maybe actually better idea. This is a time to dust off those plays that are in the playbook, or when you've looked at it, you've only run them once or twice. Get out there, do some, practice
Those.
reps, stuff like that. Do some drills out there on the field, see how it goes against another team. It's kind of one of those games. If you can't tell, I think the Saints are garbage. They'll probably play better than that. If
I wonder
not,
if that baby in a stroller play would work.
watch out. Now, definitely, watch it. That's some stuff the Saints would pull. So watch out for the baby in the stroller. Okay, don't fall for it. But no, look. Cowboys had a bad November, right? We could see where it came from, right? You can see where you can point right to it. They'll be fine. Like I don't see anything changing as far as who and what the Cowboys are. They had a bad day, and right now, hey, you had a bad day in November. You're gonna have it. Good time to have it, because December and January, not good times to have bad days. So I kind of, my hope, what I expect to see, a big rebound with the Cowboys running game. And I expect to see a big rebound for the Cowboys defense. This is, somewhat one-dimensional team. Is going to give them that chance to kind of hone it in. And they're really at that spot where all they need is to get a little taste of the success momentum. And once they get back in that, and you get back in that rhythm of like, okay, this is how this works. This is us moving the ball, controlling the clock. This is us getting off the field on third down. It'll just pick up from there. So I think it's a good team to have this week against.
Yeah. And head coach and the defensive coach, Dan Quinn, is going to be the head coach until Mike McCarthy is coming back. Not set. And as I stated, I wish Mike McCarthy nothing best. I hope he comes over any sickness that he's going through or anything that he's going through. But I'm real confident that Dan Quinn leading us into the Saints is going to get us back to where we need to be, especially the defense.
Yep.
All right, well, let's take a quick break. We can come back and I don't know, let's talk about some more football.